Alright, you guys, here's part 2 of section 6 for chapter 1. So in part 2, we are going to focus on solving absolute value inequalities. Alright, so first we're going to look at solving a less than absolute value inequality. And we have to remember that we get two answers for absolute values. So our step 1 is we're going to remove the absolute value bars by creating a compound inequality. Once we do that, we're going to solve both inequalities at the same time. And our last step is we are going to graph. And when we graph, remember that it's less than. And in than, it kind of sounds like and. So the compound inequality we're going to create for less than is always going to be an and compound inequality. So we will remove the absolute value bars, and we have 2x, I don't know why I wrote that, 2x minus 1 is less than 5, and we also are going to say 2x minus 1 that I have right here, and just put on the other side is greater than negative 5. So again, I have my original 2x minus 1 is less than 5, and I just added the inequality to the other side, and I said 2x minus 1 is greater than negative 5. And now step 2, I'm going to solve both inequalities at the same time. So remember, what you do to one side, you have to do to all sides. So to isolate my variable, I'm going to first decide to add to undo this addition. And you have to add 1 to every single side, and here we have 3 sides. So doing so, I get 2x in the middle is less than 5 plus 1 is 6, and is greater than negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. And then to solve for x, I'm going to divide all sides by 2. And I get x is less than 3, but greater than negative 2. So here's my answer. Now I just have to graph it. So since my lowest or my least term is negative 2, I'll start my graph at negative 3, and then go negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I would stop there, but I'm just going to keep finishing out my graph, 5, 6, 7. Since it's greater than, I'm going to have open circles and less than. I have a greater than sign and a less than sign. So I'm going to have open circles at negative 2 and at 3. And since it's less than, it sounds like and, my shading's going to be in between. Alright, and that's it, you guys. So try your problem on the right, and then let's go and check out a greater than absolute value inequality. Alright, last thing. We are going to solve a greater than absolute value inequality. So our steps are going to be the same. Remove absolute value bars by creating a compound inequality. Step 2, solve one inequality and then the other. So I guess that one's slightly different because step 2 for less than was to solve them at the same time. And then step 3, graph, and remember it's greater. So great or. So the compound inequality we're creating here is an or compound inequality. I'm going to throw the word graph in here. Alright, so for example, we have 2x plus 4 is greater or equal to 6. Or 2x plus 4 is less than or equal to negative 6. Alright, so I'm going to solve them both. I'm going to bring down the word or. So solving the first one, I'm going to say minus 4 on each side. When I subtract 4, I'll get 2x is greater or equal to 6 minus 4 is 2. And then divide by 2 on both sides. and I get x is greater or equal to 1. All right, solving my other one, do the same steps, subtract 4. I get 2x is less than or equal to negative 10, and then divide by 2, and I get, and bring it over to the left a little so I don't run into that star, x is less than or equal to negative 5. All right, so now I need to graph. My smaller term is negative 5, so I'm going to start at negative 6. And then carry on. And I could stop at 2, but I need to fill in my whole number line. Since it's greater than or equal to and less than or equal to, I'm going to have closed circles. So one closed circle at negative 5 and another closed circle at 1. And since it's an or, I know that my graph, my shading is going away from each other. So I'm shading away and away here. All right, you guys, you have one U-try left. Get going on it. This is the end of chapter 1, so rewatch anything you need to. Get ready for the test this Thursday.